Capricorn, welcome to your May 2022 General Tarot reading. It's Rena here. Let me put these cards to the side. Oh, two cards are coming out. And the outcome, I will put these two cards so you can see both of them. Let me see if I can, no, I can't. I can drop back maybe a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay. The heart of the matter is the Queen of Cups. This is a very psychic and artistic card. Very different than the energy of Capricorn. Just very, ruled by Saturn and very, very organized, disciplined. The creative, intuitive process, or processes, whatever you want to call them, are not like that. That's what makes them different than our mundane mind. This is also a card of mother. Your mother, the mothering instinct, coming into your life in some way. An obvious one is if you are a woman who is wanting a family, and that might be a real tug of war within yourself, because Capricorns, male and female, tend to be very ambitious, goal-oriented, and I'm talking about career goals. So making that transition can feel very scary sometimes if you have a career that you've been building, but you feel that strong pull towards motherhood. And the reason I'm focusing on women is because women are the ones that give birth, so they have to take that into consideration. If you are older, you may be thinking of a second career that's more artistic, that's more creative, that is a healing arts. So something where you are involved in energy medicine, shamanism, whatever it is that speaks to your heart. Actually, shamanism might speak to a lot of Capricorns because it has that earth element. If you are a younger Capricorn, by the way, I did a video on the Neptune and Capricorn generation. It's actually the millennials, so if you're in that era, it was like early 80s to 1999. I can't remember the exact years, but you might have the sun in conjunction with Neptune. And that is something that is very strong with you, is like spiritual, artistic pursuits. But then that conditioning may make you think that you should do otherwise. To please parents, to be like considered respectable. If you're a Reiki master, if somebody thinks that that's some kind of like flaky thing to do, then you might be less inclined to do it, and yet you're like, really, that's really what your calling is. I love that word, the calling, because it's like speaking to you, trying to get your attention. North Node can, to me, be your calling as well. In the past position, the Four of Swords. So I feel like, because I have here in the higher message, the Hermit card, I feel like there's Saturn, right? I feel this sense of contemplative energy from Capricorn. Maybe because Pluto is in its last degrees of Capricorn, and it's starting to concentrate those lessons of the last 14 years thus far. And for the Capricorn individual, it's like really maybe bearing down on you some of these things that have been a theme for you, the transformation that has occurred. Now it's like ratcheting up. So definitely take the time. Four of Swords is like about rejuvenation of body, mind, and I would say spirit. And also to me, Four of Swords is getting your thoughts in order so that you're in a good place, that you know exactly where you want to be. I even have the Ace of Swords here. Wow, I have a lot of swords for some reason. Swords are air signs. So Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, of course, it can be a person of one of these signs. And the bottom line is with the Queen of Cups in the center here and the Hermit as the higher message, make sure that you're not too much in your head, in your mind, trying to be logical. I feel like earth signs try to be rational about a situation. And, there's definitely a time for rational thinking. But there's also the Queen of Cups time, which is like where you transcend what came into my mind was matrix. The word matrix came into my mind, the mind matrix, which has you plugged into this hive mind. You have to get beyond that ultimately because we're here temporarily. We know that for sure. And so there's got to be something beyond this dimension that survives the temporal nature of life. I'm sorry to get so philosophical here, but this is a tarot reading after all. What crosses you is the Prince of Swords, which is the Page of Swords. No, I'm sorry, it's the Knight of Swords. It almost looked like a demon to me, this person, but the Knight of Swords, yes. What I feel about this, if this is to do with love, for instance, make sure that the person that you're involved with is someone who is stable and somebody who is constant. I guess that's another word for stable, but I mean emotionally constant with you, because the Knight of Swords in the challenge position can be somebody who is very is almost like a troublemaker as far as I'm concerned. And if this is somebody that you're involved with, you may be caught up in some kind of a drama, because swords can be about drama. And it's not like Capricorn people to get involved in drama, but I feel like it's one of those weird situations where you're really on point when it comes to your life on a material level, but maybe your emotional or personal life is where things get a little weird. And I think that this might be true across the board with some of the earth signs, because they're too much in that mode of the five senses and that kind of thing, and the emotions are intangible, and there might be this tendency to kind of equate everything with the material. And Capricorn, though, is a wise sign when it's operating at the highest level. Definitely, I'm not suggesting that at all, but just in terms of somebody coming into your life, if you have inner planets in Sagittarius or and or Aquarius, you may be more attracted to these types of people because they feel exciting, but they're really destructive. That's what I'm kind of trying to say. And it's funny that I get these sorts. So Gemini, especially Libra, is a sign that because they're cardinal signs and they create that friction of the square, and Aquarius. And this person can throw you off your game if you're not careful. What's coming in is the Wheel of Fortune. And that person could also be a coworker who trying to plant seeds of doubt, kind of running their mouth. But the Wheel of Fortune kind of trumps all of that. Wheel of Fortune is connected to Jupiter. And this is a card of, and I did get the Ace of Swords as well, but the alignment with the Wheel of Fortune to best possible outcome, being on that timeline of success, prosperity, things going your way. Along with that card, I got the Ace of Swords. So this is about gaining mental clarity. And when you do so, you're able to go forth, because the aces are beginnings, in a more confident way, because you know that whatever it is that you're attempting to do you have like a realistic and clarifying approach. You're not kind of convoluted about it. You know what you want to do. You know what you want to accomplish. And the outcome card, the King of Swords, this is at the top of it all. This is like a lot of detachment. This may be required. Perhaps with the Queen of Cups, you've been overly emotional lately about something, and you have to identify what it is that has been bothering you so much. I mean, even if you know what the trigger is, you still might have to figure out, why is this bothering me? And once you get that sorted out, you're able to be, what I would call it, like using your mind as a fine tool. Because what happens a lot of times is our emotions kind of creep in when we're trying to do something, and it's like accomplishing goals. Whenever I see a king, I think of somebody who is embodying the ultimate level of whatever that suit is. In this case, it's the swords, which is the intellect. And it's able to think at the highest level without, being kind of torn by emotional concerns. Sometimes, that's why the Queen of Swords exists. Sometimes you need to bring that into account, and sometimes there's a situation, so this might be with that Knight of Swords individual, that you cannot afford to think about perhaps times when things were better, because there's some kind of thing that you have to be totally detached. Now, I was even wondering if the Prince of Swords or the Knight of Swords is a child, an adult child, who you have had problems with and you've tried to help. And, that mothering energy of the Queen of Cups can only go so far. Then you have to let that person go in love. And you have to trust that they're going to find the truth and be able to solve their problems eventually. Because sometimes you try to protect somebody. There's a very protective energy with the Queen of Cups, and it only ends up enabling them. Not all the time. I wouldn't say never to try to help somebody first, But you have to kind of look and see whether or not it's actually helping. Okay, that's what I have for you, Capricorn. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a personal reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.